Hello there, and welcome back to the Devlog series for SCP The Cycle. And it seems that I can't just decide on this one. In Devlog number 5, I implemented a system where the walls would become transparent when the player was behind them. This system was later removed because I didn't like that every wall was becoming transparent. This time, I've implemented something resembling that system, but taking the best of both worlds. The reason the player would want to look behind walls is to see any objects or items behind them, so I've made the walls only become transparent when an item was behind it. I always love it when a game dev goes a bit more in depth with explaining how certain code works, so I wanted to give that a go for a system that I've been struggling with in this devlog. The wall transparency system might seem like quite a simple system, but it needed a lot of work to function efficiently. At first, I ran a check on every wall object on every frame in the game to see if an item was behind it. And to make matters worse, every wall was looping through every object in the game to find the items to check. And as you might guess, this destroyed performance. If we do the math, there are 4,240 instances in the game. I think we can assume that the majority of these instances are walls. Let's say that there are 4,000 walls. Every wall loops through all instances, so that's 4,240 times 4,000, and that is 16,960,000 instances per frame. Multiply this by 60, and you check 1,017,600,000 instances per second. This obviously needed a lot of optimization. The next iteration was more performance friendly, but still had its flaws. This time, I only ran the check when an item was created or destroyed instead of every frame. This works because the wall should only update if an item was dropped or picked up, so checking every frame was unnecessary. This check still loops through every object in the game multiple times though, so when you drop or pick up an item it lags for a second or so before continuing normally. After searching around a bit on the internet to find a more elegant solution for this, I came upon this forum thread. The script shown here returns the instance IDs of all objects within a certain area. I had to modify this script a bit to suit my needs, but in the end it worked. Now when an item is picked up or dropped, the item changes the transparency variables of all the relevant instances that this script returns. This way I don't have to loop through every object multiple times, but only check an area and change some variables, which is way more efficient than what I was doing before. This system, along with some other bug fixes, took up the first week of this devlog. These changes have been uploaded as the beta 0.2.1 patch on GameJolt. In the second week, I started preparations for the beta 0.3 release. Some of the things that I plan to do in this release are making the Heavy Containment Zone along with its storyline, character animations, the SCP-106 walk through walls mechanic, more SCPs to be contained in the new area, and more puzzles for the Holly device. To keep track of what I have planned and what I'm doing, I'm now using Trello. I've always noticed that planning was one of my weaker points that needed attention. Before, I would just think of what I wanted to add once I opened up the project, and this led to several objects and mechanics that I didn't even need until later on. For example, I've already added SCP-207 when it wasn't needed in the previous release, and SCP-106 was added a long time ago, even though he's just been implemented into the actual game. I've noticed that by using Trello to keep my planning organized, my productivity has massively increased, and I can be sure that everything that I'm working on is something useful. With that being said, in the second week, I've written the storyline for the new area and designed the area before I actually made it in GameMaker, which sped up the process a lot. Then I started working on the new area, including some sprites and objects that needed to be made. The walls and floors were all done first, and afterwards I've also made half of the generator room. For the next devlog, I'll try to complete this area. And that has been it for this devlog. Thank you all for watching. As always, I'm very open to suggestions, so do leave some feedback in the comments. If you want to keep up to date with the progress, be sure to subscribe. Bye for now, and I'll see you all in the next one.